Scripture interconnects the concepts of covetousness, inheritance, and the field of the fatherless, reflecting themes of justice, greed, and divine judgment. The biblical passages in Exodus 20:17, Proverbs 23-10, 1 Kings 21:1-16, James 1:14-15, and Luke 12:15-21 reveal how covetousness and intense desire for what belongs to another can lead to injustice, particularly regarding inheritance and the rights of the vulnerable. Covetousness and inheritance. Exodus 20:17 commands, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house or anything that belongs to your neighbor." Covetousness is more than mere desire, it is an internal longing that, if unchecked, leads to sin. The concept of inheritance ties into this because possessions and land in biblical times were often passed down through family lines. Greedy individuals, particularly those in power, frequently sought to unjustly acquire another's rightful inheritance. 1 Kings 21:1-16 provides a vivid example. King Ahab coveted Naboth's vineyard, an ancestral inheritance that Naboth, honoring God's command, refused to sell. Jezebel, Ahab's wife, orchestrated Naboth's false accusation and execution, allowing Ahab to seize the land. This event demonstrates how covetousness can manifest in actions that lead to oppression and the perversion of justice. Proverbs 23:10 warns, "Do not remove the ancient boundary stone or encroach on the fields of the fatherless." Inheritance was protected by boundary markers, which symbolized divine allotment of land to families. The fatherless orphans without defenders were especially vulnerable to exploitation. Greedy individuals would remove these markers to steal land and act condemned by God. This verse links covetousness to the theft of inheritance, reinforcing the moral duty to uphold justice for the powerless. The danger of covetousness. James 1:14-15 explains the process by which sin develops. Each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Covetousness starts in the heart but, if entertained, leads to sinful actions with destructive consequences, as seen in Ahab's case. Jesus warns in Luke 12:15-21, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed." Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. He then tells the parable of a rich fool who hoarded wealth but was unprepared for death. Like Ahab, he prioritized possessions over righteousness, failing to recognize that greed ultimately leads to spiritual ruin. Covetousness distorts justice and leads to oppression, particularly concerning inheritance and the property of the vulnerable. Scripture consistently warns against greed and its consequences, emphasizing that earthly wealth is temporary, while righteousness and obedience to God's commands endure. Those who seek to unjustly seize the inheritance of others, especially the defenseless, invite divine judgment.